Hey, what's up? Today I'm going to show you how to play the Testament song City of Angels off the 2020 record Titans of Creation. I covered this song on my guitar a couple months ago and I got some people asking for tabs and a tutorial, so I thought that would be a really nice thing to do, and I hope that you can learn something from watching this video. The song itself is about a satanic serial killer rapist named Richard Ramirez, who was active in the Los Angeles area and I think shortly in the San Francisco Bay Area as well in the mid-1980s. So feel good hit of the summer. The song's tempo is between 135 and 140 BPM. So for the transcription that I made, I've just set it as 137 just on average, and for the tutorial I've slowed it down to 80 BPM so that hopefully everybody will be able to follow along easily. For the solo section you might want to use some reverb, and obviously there's a wah pedal section, so you need a wah pedal to really accurately cover that. And then there's also a clean section, so it'd be good for you to have a foot switch to switch between your clean and your gain channel. But aside from that, it's fairly straightforward tone-wise. If you listen closely, you'll really hear the difference in tone between Eric Peterson's guitar and Alex Skolnick's guitar. Really very different sounds, and that's, very cool that we hear that on the record. The song was originally recorded in drop tuning, C sharp or D flat, as I was informed by Gaetano Tagliarini, so grazie mille, because I learned the song by ear and I assumed it was in standard tuning, so the cover that I did, so the video that I made, I played the song in C sharp standard tuning or D flat standard tuning, but obviously it's possible to play the song both ways, which is nice. And so for people who want to learn the song in standard tuning, you can still download the standard transcription that I made. And for the transcriptions that I made, I've put in both tabs and sheet music. For the sheet music, I've written everything as if we were in E standard or an E drop D tuning, just because I think that's what most people would be used to. That's at least what I'm used to. And then the tabs, so hopefully that'll be easy enough to follow along. I'll explain a little bit about the tutorial. So I've split the song up into 10 different sections. This includes the solos, and it includes both the left channel and the right guitar channel, so we have both Eric Peterson's and Alex Skolnick's parts included. And this is obviously my transcription as I've heard it, so don't mind any little mistakes, but let me know if I made any mistakes so I can fix them, obviously. Every section begins with a little bit of a theoretical analysis and a bit of a technical explanation, and then we go into the actual playthrough at 80 BPM. On the left side you'll see the left channel guitar, and on the right side you see the right channel guitar, and then on top of that there's the transcription scrolling through. So if you want to grab your guitar and play along with the video, hopefully you should be able to. And for the solo, the second solo, because it's so long, I've split it up into 5 different phrases, so you get a bit of extra explanation at the end for that solo. The tabs and the sheet music are all combined in one transcription that you can download in the video description below. It's in the MuseScore file format. So if you don't have MuseScore, I'll quickly explain. MuseScore is a program that was developed for composers, and it's open source and it's free to download. It has interactive playthrough ability, just like Guitar Pro or Power Tab or any of those programs would have as well. And it has tab ability, so in theory you should be all set. So yeah, without further ado, let's get tuned up. So we're going to go into drop tuning right now. If you want to do standard tuning, there's a link to that in the video description. And after tuning, we'll get into section 1 and we'll go all the way through till we hit the end. So hopefully you learned something, and I hope you enjoy. See you in a bit. Section A, the intro section. With an open string power chord on the bottom 3 strings, we establish the tonal center, which is technically D flat or C sharp. There's a 10th fret bar on the top 3 strings playing a minor first inversion chord. This sets us up in Aeolian mode or natural minor. Then we get a stacked 4 chord on the top 3 strings, still within that Aeolian mode. Section B1. There's a slight key change here from Aeolian mode to Neapolitan minor, which is also known as Phrygian harmonic minor. It's a minor scale with a raised 7th and a flat 2nd. This section introduces the melodic theme with its minor 2nd and Neapolitan minor descents, and it also introduces a rhythmic theme with a small gallop. Some slides going on the bottom string. The harmonies, it sounds like they're split up between the 2 guitars here, and they're minor 3rd harmonies. It's fairly easy to play them both in standard tuning, and it's slightly more difficult to play both harmonies on one guitar in drop tuning, but it is possible. At the end of the repeat, the power chords go down the Neapolitan minor scale towards the 5th scale degree. I'm calling this the Neapolitan descent, and it's one of the themes that returns in this song quite frequently. Section B1 returns again in the end, and although it's almost completely played the same as in the beginning, there is one slight difference in the minor 3rd harmonies. The harmony makes its way down, and because it's retaining that minor 3rd shape all the way throughout, there's a slight break out of the scale, because now we're ending on a dominant 7 rather than a major 7 for this minor scale. So you should know that at the end when this section repeats, there's a slight difference in the harmony. Section B2 has the same melody as section B1, but it has a more driving rhythm to it. The left and the right guitar channel have some differences rhythmically when they play the gallops. Look at the chords hitting on the upbeats in the 2nd measure. This section repeats. The first time around, the Neapolitan descent doesn't go down to the 5th degree, it goes back up to the 7th, and then the 2nd time around it does go down to the V. Section C is the clean part. In this tutorial, I left it on the distorted channel because I was using a DI. Long story short, I couldn't just switch to clean, so you have to bear with me and listen to it as a distortion. For the left channel, for the first 8 bars, the left channel guitar plays power chords. They ring out for a few measures and then get hit at certain points for emphasis. Just listen to the song and you'll be able to note the rhythm of that. For the right channel, because of the power chord being played underneath in the left channel, there's ample allowance for some playing around with tonalities, and so what we get is interplay between major and minor on the right channel. This clean part can be played in several positions. I've shown you the position that I feel most comfortable playing it in, but in the tab I've given you some alternatives so you can pick and choose what you prefer. There is the option to incorporate open strings. You can, for example, use the open E string in some places. When the vocals come in for this section, both channels are playing these arpeggios. And at the end of the section, you need to quickly switch back to the gain channel to play those Neapolitan descent power chords. Section D is the verse. With the addition of our 6th fret on the 6th string, we're now technically in a Locrian scale, so we still have that Neapolitan descent with that major 7 in it. So technically, we're using a Locrian major 7 scale right now because we still have that flat 2nd. That 6th fret on our 6th string is a diminished 5th. So there you go, Locrian major 7. Keep a driving rhythm with some gallops moving up and down the scale. There are some repeats in this section, and so we have some different endings for each repeat section. The first time around at the end of the second bar, there's just a slide up a semitone, and then the second time around, the second bar ends in sliding down that same semitone. Keep an ear out for rhythmic variations, when and where to play those little gallops. Just listen to the song and you'll figure it out. After this, section C is played again. It's slightly different, but it's the same idea, so you can check that out in the tab. Then section D, the verse, the next verse is played. That's pretty much all the same, so just check the tab for that. Section E is our first bridge. We're coming off the open A string, which is the tonal center in this section. In other words, we've modulated to the dominant coming out of D. And I'm talking about these strings as if we're in standard tuning. This section plays around with minor third shifts. There's some sliding octaves in bar 4. During this section, it's important to keep a driving rhythm by hitting the power chord between shifts. Then we end on a staccato, followed by 2.5 beats of silence for added effect. This is all down picking. Then on the left channel, the guitar hits 2 palm muted power chords, and then we get back into section B1. We've reached the first solo. There's a key change here to E, technically E flat, which is the 5th degree of A, which was the last chord played in the previous section. The rhythm guitar part here makes use of a similar gallop rhythm as what we've heard before. The rhythm guitar also maintains that theme of the minor scale with a flat 2nd. At the end of the solo, the rhythm goes back into the intro of the song, which was already covered in section A. The solo utilizes the minor pentatonic scale and begins with a rhythmic theme of triplets. The bends in the solo are particularly interesting because they really push the limits by bending up to a minor third in bar 3 and a major third in bar 6. Bend up and release. And don't forget to slide down from the low E string, 12th fret, all the way down. Wah pedal lead. This is basically minor pentatonic mixed with some Neapolitan minor. On the E string, it's all pentatonics up until the last note of bar 4, and then on the A string, we get that minor Neapolitan descent that we've had throughout the song so far, using the root, the major 7th, and the minor 6th of that scale. In the rhythm guitar part, there's some palm mutes here and there until the rhythm guitar comes back fully with a chord progression, which starts at the end of bar 4. You can listen to this song to note the rhythms of these. Section F, Bridge 2. This section is basically 4 sections of 4 measures. There's quite a bit of repetition here that you'll be able to figure out by ear. On each section repeat, the ending is played a little differently. On the endings first time around, in the third repeat, the guitars jump to the diminished 5th, then to the minor 3rd, and then up the 4th. On the first repeat, there's a slide up the scale, which is basically Locrian here. So we go up the minor 2nd, minor 3rd, perfect 4th, and then diminished 5th. Finally, on the 16th bar, there's an ascent from the minor 3rd to the flat 5th. Now we get to the second solo. I've decided to split the solo up into 5 phrases, A to E. The rhythm guitar underneath solo 2 starts out by repeating the theme of the bridge, so the second bridge, for another 8 bars. And then the next 8 bars have a slight key change, but the rhythm stays the same. Then during that minor arpeggio sweep, there's also a drum solo, and the meter changes to 3/4 for one measure. The rhythm guitar mimics this and gives some space for that. And after that measure, there's a quick succession of meter changes alternating between 4/4 and 3/4 every bar until there are 3 bars of 3/4. And then we get a final change back into 4/4. So as the solo is starting to wind down, the rhythm guitar plays that minor arpeggio using a bar shape, and that's coupled with playing power chords. You can listen to the song to note the exact rhythm in full speed. Finally, at the end of the solo, the rhythm guitar starts building up to the next section by chugging on some power chords, so listen out for the rhythm for that one as well. So let's start with phrase A. Phrase A begins with some pentatonic legatos, In my video, I was tapping some of this, but upon closer inspection, I figured there's no tapping in this solo at all, so that was some creative license on my part. Near the end of this phrase, we're in a different key for a couple of bars. Then phrase B. This phrase starts out on a dramatic bend up that gets released, and then we go into some harmonic minor scale runs, and after that there's some more dramatic bends. Phrase C. This is a really fast run going from the bottom to the top of the fretboard. I transcribed the opening bar. This is quintuplets, but you can read them as triplets as well. Just like at the end of phrase A, when you slow this down, it sounds like it's out of key, but it's actually a clever trick with blended minor and major scales across multiple positions, so that's really cool. The last bar of this phrase grounds us back into a minor tonality, including a harmonic major seventh. Then phrase D, this is a slidey run played off the first and second strings, and it's mainly pentatonics with a little diminished twist in the penultimate bar. Leading in phrase E is a minor arpeggio sweep. This is basically your standard minor chord shape off the fifth string, but it's played arpeggiated. Then there's some really beautiful legato playing. It's voice leading the listener back down. So this is descending. You can hear a similar scale run as in phrase B, except it's a little shorter and it has a major tonality. Then there's a fast pentatonic multi-string legato run ending back on the root note. After that, the solo starts winding down with some legatos over a rhythm that's emphasizing the return to the root. This section is very lyrical, and the Dorian mode used here makes things sound a little mysterious. In the last two bars, it sounds to me like there are some false harmonics. To play these, put a finger from your picking hand over the fret that's an octave up from the fret that you're playing with your fretting hand. So, in case you're right-handed, your picking hand is your right hand, and your fretting hand is your left hand. And if you're left-handed, then your picking hand is your left hand, and your fretting hand is your right hand. With your picking hand, hit the harmonic as you would a normal harmonic, so just touch the string really lightly in its sweet spot. The difference between a false harmonic and a non-false harmonic is that you'll have to pick and fret with your picking hand simultaneously. I use my pinky to pick the string and use my index finger to hit the harmonic, but you can also use your ring finger to pick the string. Or if you want to play false harmonics Eddie Van Halen style, you can try tapping the upper octaves with your picking hand while fretting the lower octaves with your fretting hand. If you want to do that, then you need to tap your finger right on the middle of the fret. after solo 2, we get back to section B1, and so this is the end version of B1 with a slightly different harmony. After that, there's section D again, which is the verse, and then back to section E, which was bridge 1, and that's our ending section. So we end the song on the 6th degree of our minor scale that we're in, technically the D flat or C sharp minor scale. So that's all, folks. I hope you learned something. Feel free to refer back to the video whenever you need. Feel free to leave any questions or comments. Like I said, if you spot any errors in the transcription, then just let me know and I can fix it. And yeah, I really hope you got something out of this and enjoy playing the song. So see you next time.